energy is part of us. It's who we are. It's what we are.
Yeah.
And actually, if we go down to the mechanics of it, we're really made up out of electricity and water.
Yeah. Yeah.
Electricity, the electrical current within our body combined with the water, that is the energy that makes us move. Even me moving my arms, that is energy. Energy cannot be destroyed. It can and it
Yeah.
cannot be created. It can only be changed. It can only change forms. So
Yeah.
it's part of us. It's part of our world. It's part of everything.
Okay, so hi guys, welcome to another episode of The Renewed Minds. It is my great pleasure to welcome back Anoushka Marcin. How you doing, Anoushka?
Hello. I am doing really well. Thank you so much for having me back on your show. I was really excited actually to come back because I know last time when we spoke that we had a lot to say, we had a lot to talk about. So I'm really excited to be back on your show.
Yeah.
We're going to be talking some wonderful topics today.
Yeah, definitely. And it's just like, I mean, it's been almost 2 years, I think, since you first came on the show. And just to put it in a bit of context, yeah, 2 years, I mean, wow, whole time flies. But just to put it in a bit of context for everyone, 2 years ago at Anoushka, we collaborated on, narcissism and what it was exactly. And even Anoushka was an inspiration for me as well on my journey and learning on education and narcissism. And, I never thought we'd actually meet face to face, but we managed to meet up in London about a year ago. That was great. And we just didn't have enough time, to talk about some things. It was just simply just a catch up. And it just happened that we, at the time, were on the topics of energy. We were just talking about energy, and we just said, we had to do an episode on energy and power of the mind and the will. So here we are a year later. And we got there finally in the end to doing it.
Yes, I know. Like when when you're introducing it, you're talking about it. I'm thinking, oh my God, has it really been like a year? And when I'm thinking
Yeah,
back, yes, it has. And I've got to say,
yeah.
time does fly, but time also is a construct. Anyway,
Brilliant. I
not
like
going to
that.
start on that one.
Yeah, brilliant. So yeah, I mean, I've been so excited to talk about this episode, Anushka, especially with like what you're doing at the moment with, in case people have not checked out your page on self generation and how energy is basically everything and even from your soul to your spirit, I believe. So I think like if we can just start from there, Anushka, like what is energy? We hear all these different definitions, with the chakras and different religions having their concepts on energy. Like, what is energy to you? Like, how do we like kind of like condition it for our own gain within this world?
Do you know, a lot of people have different or varying interpretations of what it is, but actually energy is part of us. It's who we are. It's what we are.
Yeah,
And actually, if we go down to the mechanics of it, we're really made up out of electricity and water.
yeah,
Electricity, the electrical current within our body combined with the water, that is the energy that makes us move. Even me moving my arms, that is energy.
yeah,
Energy
yeah,
cannot be created, and I know energy cannot be destroyed. It can and it
yeah,
cannot be created. It can only be changed. It can only change forms. So
yeah,
it's part of us. It's part of our world. It's part of everything. Um, and again, like this is something that we're not taught, and I feel like this is something that's so important that we all need to kind of come to this kind of realization and understanding of what actually it is and
yeah.
how we can use it to our advantage, so to speak, because it
Exactly.
can, do you know what, you can use it in so many forms, like for example manifestation, bringing in things that you really want, understanding our true our true element of who we actually are, how our energy affects other people, how our energy affects our emotions, the way we think, the way that we behave. There's so many things that it is combined with, that actually this is actually our existence. This is not part of it. It is it.
Yeah, it is. And I just love how you just touched on that point, because it just reminds me of something like, many years ago. I don't know if people have heard of The Secret, but the law of attraction per se, and how your thoughts are like magnetic waves that go within the universe. Like you said, we're electricity and water, and it's like, what's that made of? Like, what are we really? It's like, you're Anoushka, I'm Modupe, but we've just been given names. Like, we're spirit beings, and those spirit beings have energy. And the fact that you can, like you said, manifest what you want with your thoughts, and just like, it's just, I mean, it just even reminds me actually of your great achievement of, reaching 100,000 subscribers, and like, I was absolutely fantastic. And you had that vision, and you had that goal in mind, and you achieved it. So it's I know to some people it might sound like easier said than done, but it is actually a law in the universe. Just like you've got the law of gravity, you've got the law of this. I mean, if you can conceive it, you really can achieve it. And I just love that you touched on that point, and especially with the fact that you said it can't be destroyed. It can like only be transferred, and so to speak, in that sense. Which brings me on to the question I actually wanted to ask on how energy and connections to source, with empaths, how energy can't be, either created or destroyed. But as we all know, narcissists, they need to supply at times, and how this theory comes about of how they need empath's connection to source and to get that energy. Can you elaborate any more on that, Anoushka?
Yes, of course. And this is going more into like the spiritual part of it, which I
Yeah,
feel like it is really important to talk more about it, because I don't think that this subject is touched upon enough. So I believe with narcissists and empaths, that dynamic. I mean, empaths are so attractive to narcissists. It's not just the way that we look, it's the way that we behave, the way that we are perceived. It's the way that we treat other people. So this makes us very attractive to the narcissist. It's also to do with our vibrational frequency as well, where we vibrate on this. So when you're a kind, when you're a compassionate, patient, understanding person, you're going to vibrate on a much higher level or much higher frequency than, say, someone who is depressed, anxious, overthinks, doesn't think much of themselves, someone who doesn't, see themselves, bring themselves to the table, because that person is always caught up in those thoughts, in that way of being, always over criticizing themselves, always overthinking. So your energy is going to be a lot lower. This person is going to be a lot more tired. They're not going to want to do things. So they haven't got the energy to be able to, I don't know, to be that higher vibration, to have the energy and the sparks to go out there and affect another person in a positive way, which is a lot of what empaths actually do. So when a narcissist sees that, they are also, you've got to understand, they're very predatory. So they're looking for these particular assets or qualities within a person. They need someone to bring them up. Because if you think about it, a narcissist is vibrating on a lower level. These are people who have been heavily traumatized from childhood. Okay, and they have huge defense mechanisms, yet they portray that they are so wonderful, so amazing. This not all of them, but a lot of them do hide behind this mask. So when this positive or toxic positivity, so their energy is not going to be vibrating on the same level. It's not going to be matching. They know this, so they need to pretend and match the same level where the empath is, which is why I believe that us empaths are attracted as well to narcissists, is because actually they're fake, or they're kind of love bombing, they're mirroring, they're trying to match us, they're trying to be us. At a time we don't see it as fake, which is why the two of us are kind of magnetized, towards one another. So this I feel like a lot of this has to do with our vibrational frequency. And over time, when you're in the relationship with a narcissist, the empath's vibrational frequency lowers and lowers because it's being depleted. They can't regenerate that energy. They can't regenerate that self-concept, because it is being depleted. When someone is putting you down, telling you that you're not good enough, triggering you all the time, then it's really hard to come back from something like that.
Yeah, I'm so glad you mentioned that because I was actually just about to touch on that point because even as empaths, and there's only so much. If an empath is so positive, there's only so much they can go because if they're with a narcissist and they're depleting their energy, it's just like it's almost as if like if people imagine ourselves as batteries, and when you're with a narcissist and you're if you want to call it key or whatever, your spiritual energy is just so low and it can get to like a dangerous level if you don't kind of like heal from that relationship or find a way to get out of it. It can be very dangerous. And I think one thing I even wanted to ask you about, do you believe like narcissists are kind of have this level of depth of knowledge in terms of like this spiritual knowledge of vibrations and things like that, or do they just go about doing what they do as
narcissists? Do you know what I think? I think narcissists are also empaths, but they are dark empaths. And it's really interesting.
Oh wow!
Actually,
I like that theory.
Yeah, like I think because it's not, how can you, narcissists have this ability and this uncanny ability to be able to read you. They can read you, they know. Okay, so that has to be some sort of, emotional intelligence. You have to have that sort of understanding because not everyone can do that. But they are so switched on, they know, and it's almost as though they're always one step ahead. But actually, I feel that they are actually empaths, but they use this knowledge against the other person for their own personal gains. That's what I think. I think that they are not able to turn this around and use this in a positive light. I think they use it against someone for personal gains.
Right. Yeah, and that's how you see like a lot of narcissists like in successful positions, like as CEOs, because they manipulate things to their advantage and that. And some might even argue, like I don't know if you've heard of some self-aware narcissists, and it's like it's almost as if like their conception of being a narcissist is it really bad? Do we really like need to be rescued for free? Like some might be happy being narcissists and that, but I wanted to ask in the sense that because this is something I actually asked early on, what you believe. Do you really believe? Because it sounds tragic in a way, but do you really believe that a narcissist, can never like change or like have that? Because, like you said, being dark empaths, can they, so to speak, come back to the light side, or they're in the dark side permanently? If we go into Star Wars,
do you know what? I'm going to answer your question, but I'm going to explain it. No, they can't change because
that's deep.
Okay,
That's deep.
I'm going to go into the neurological part here now. Okay, so right, because this is the only way that I can, the only way that I kind of understand it. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So with narcissists, okay, when you, no one is born a narcissist. Okay, this is all very much conditioned. This is my belief. This is what I feel from like things that I've studied and read. I believe that narcissists are not born. This is something that is fused or created through behavioral concepts or conditioning. Okay, so when the child experiences trauma, you've got to understand that in childhood, this is where the brain is forming. Okay, neural pathways are forming. They're learning about their environment. So when when the narcissist is growing up, when they're going through childhood, there's certain neural pathways that are at work here. There's certain neural pathways that are being created. Now, when we experience trauma, emotional trauma, we get blockages. Okay, so if you can imagine this neural pathway growing, okay, you've got this blockage. So where is this neural pathway meant to go? What it does do is it kind of halts, it stops, which is why when we're experiencing trauma, we feel like we're frozen, we can't do anything, time stops, we feel like our life is not our own. So what happens is this neural pathway has to find another way, and it goes all the way around to be able to go this way. Okay, and so what happens is it cannot get past this trauma, this bit here, this block. So it takes its time. So this is why when we look at narcissists, they have emotional immaturity, because it is the emotional development has been stopped at certain time points, and so it hasn't actually caught up with, say, a peer or someone else that is their same age. This is why they appear or they behave in very very childish or very immature ways, because actually if you think immaturity wise, they're actually a little bit behind that, all of us, you know. So this is why their behaviors become a little bit odd or a little bit strange. What they have done is they have used these behaviors to cope. And so these are the things that they have kind of gone through or done as children. So now they're using these coping mechanisms in their adulthood. But that's what you did when you were a kid. You would tell people lies to make yourself look better when you were a teenager, when you were a kid. You kind of still doing it, you know, in your adulthood. Like, hello, why are you doing that? But this is why these behaviors are never corrected. No one ever says to them, hold on, that's a bit like, why are you doing that? They also, remember, they deflect. So again, another defense mechanism is deflection, you know, projection. No, you did it. No, you've made me do that. Why have you done? No, you've made me. So they always project, they always blame others. Because again, if they were to take on, when they were to really realize what they are doing is really wrong, like this, you know, for a lot of narcissists, they wouldn't survive this. You know, like when you're saying about self-aware narcissists, okay, that's fine, you know, great, you know, you're a narcissist. Some of them wear this like with a badge of honor, you know, like, I'm a narcissist. Do you know what I mean? It makes them feel good. But that's why, but you see, this is part of their, you know, this is their grandiosity. It's like, yeah, I can do that. I can do that to you. Who do you think you are? You know, it's they believe that they're entitled to do that. And this is that emotional immaturity. They don't have emotional intelligence. It's not developed, or it's underdeveloped, which is why they behave in these ways. And we're there, you know, scratching our heads thinking, did you really just do that? Did that really just happen? And when and also just a last point that I want to make is, when we're interacting with narcissists, you know, like in relationships or in a family setting or in a friends or a workplace setting, we are believing that they are equal, they are our peer, they're equal to us. But on an emotional level, they're not. You're actually dealing with someone who is a lot younger than you, emotionally, but also
age is just a
psychologically
number
as well.
when it comes to this.
Correct.
No, that's right on point. No. Like I totally agree with that point. I mean, you know, we've all had an experience, either workplace or whatnot. But I think that just makes perfect sense, and I just love the way you explain that. And it's even an insight for me as well in terms of the neurological pathways of the emotions and that. And it just makes a lot of sense. And I think you hit the nail on the head with the fact that, you know, narcissists aren't born. It's something that's like conditioned and learned, you know, through like childhood and that. Absolutely brilliant, Anoushka. Thanks so much for that. And which brings me to one of the points I wanted to make on the conditioning, like you said, in terms of like in the world we live in now, people being, say, aware of this like kind of knowledge and being conditioned to certain things. What advice would you give in terms of like, say, tapping out of that kind of conditioning and, you know, tapping into that realm of where you can know who you are as a spirit being, and then be on the pathway to achieving your own dreams and your purpose. Yeah.
Yeah, that's a really, really good point. It's really important that we actually do this, because
Yeah.
there are various levels of conditioning that are put on us, from childhood, actually, and we don't see
Yeah.
it until we get to this point. And I know this information is not going to resonate with a lot of people, but with those that do, that's
Yeah.
great. You're at this point now where you're understanding the kind of the energetics of basically of what's going on. But I do feel that there are a lot of levels of conditions that are put on upon us since childhood, and it's kind of our job to look past that, to be able to move past this, to see this for what this really is,
Yeah.
because ultimately conditioning is a condition. A condition is something that you need to
Right.
conform to, something that you have to obey.
Yeah.
Actually, when we are born, we're actually born free. So what actually are we obeying? What is going on here? Like, who are we
Exactly.
obeying? We're taught
Yeah.
to obey our parents. And sure, our parents or our caregivers are there to guide us. But if our
Wow.
parents or
That is really
caregivers
deep.
also hold traumas and also
Yeah.
beliefs about certain conditions, then that is going to be
Exactly.
passed down to us. So this is where we kind of employ those ideas, those sets of beliefs. The way that you
Mm.
move past this, you see, is learning about our own triggers, learning about what actually triggers us. What is it that gets to us, or like, what are our buttons that people press? Once we have understanding of what this is, we're better able to control our emotions, our responses to certain things that happen. And this also helps us to open up actually
Mm.
ourselves to the wider world, to actually what is going on, because this is how we can see what really is happening, how someone through their words and through their actions can affect us. So again,
Yeah.
it's not about blaming people. It's not about blaming our caregivers. It's not
Yeah.
actually even blaming the narcissist. It's about actually how we respond to certain things, certain outcomes, certain things that happen. And when we do,
Exactly.
when we remain in a place of non-judgmental, we are able to see this for what it is. We then, kind of move past these conditionings, move past these set of beliefs, and it helps us to see what really is going on.
Yeah. Yeah. Definitely. I totally agree on that. And it's like, it's just a really powerful dimension to understand. And once people get to that level of knowledge and to be able to see past that, I mean, I truly believe the sky's, well, not the limit, as you know, I always say to you. It's definitely not the limit. And I just believe, on the final point, I believe like at the end of the day, sometimes we talk about, you know, healing from narcissism and things like that. But I truly believe that there's a life after that. Okay, say you've healed from narcissistic abuse, and you're aware, you now have the
Yeah.
knowledge, you now have the all the knowledge on energy, you're spiritually aware. There is another pathway, which it's absolutely fantastic, the work that you're doing, Anoushka, like the
Thank
way
you.
you're going on about self-generation. And I think that is the next step for people in terms of like, even because after healing and that, you most people have got a job, they've got a career, or they've got a business and that. And I believe like how to harness that energy now to succeed in your
Yeah.
career, in your business, in your work. Is there any like final advice? I think you're in the best place to give that advice really. Is there a final advice for our audience that you'd give in terms of like, harnessing that energy for their careers, whether it be for
Yeah.
their business or their job or anything like that?
Absolutely,
What's worked
absolutely.
for you?
Yes,
Yeah,
I would say you're absolutely right. There is life after the narcissist. Actually, your life is never going to be the same after this narcissist actually just come into
yeah,
your life. But what I would say is, you know what, learn about you. It's what I said before. Learn about your triggers. Learn about not to allow people to have this effect on you. This is about you coming home to yourself, you understanding who you are, what your true essence actually is, and actually figuring out what your purpose is, what you are here to do. What is it that you really want to do? Because life is for living. Life isn't all about recovery, trying to get past this or trying to move towards this. Life is about living. Life isn't all about a set of triggers. Understanding your true essence, who you are, building upon that, having that self-belief, coming home to yourself, believing in yourself. This will help raise your vibration, raise the energy within you, and know that actually, you know what, you can achieve anything that you want, because you are magnetic, you are amazing. And actually all of this is available to you, but this is never taught, this is never told, simply to keep you small, to keep you in that conditioned world where you believe you are nothing and insignificant, when actually you are the opposite. You are so powerful, such a powerful being. And this is what you have to realize, this is what you have to remember, is that you can achieve and be anyone that you want to be.
Oh, brilliantly said, Anoushka. Honestly, you couldn't have said that any better. Honestly, I'm just so like, you just basically just took all the words out of my mouth. That's just everything I would want our audience to like hear, because it really is. I just hope people spiritually open to receiving that and actually understanding that, because they might hear that sometimes and just think, oh yeah, but it really is the truth. It really is the truth and the pathway also to success. The road wouldn't be easy, but definitely, like I said, if you can conceive it, you can definitely achieve it. But that's absolutely fantastic, Anoushka. On that final note, is there your self-generation books and that? Is there a release date, or is it released yet?
Right. So with that book, my goodness, I have been writing it. I've got to be honest. Yes, this book is going to come out at some point next year. I'm still in certain, like, kind of writing certain chapters, but I'll be honest, it has been a little bit slow recently. There's so many other things that, like, other projects and things that I've been kind of involved with, so that has kind of taken a back burner. I feel really embarrassed saying that, because I wish that wasn't the case. I wish I could just like kind of focus and get it done. So this book is going to be talking about exactly this, the majority of the topics that we have talked about, because this is about regenerating from this person. This isn't about collapsing your life and thinking that is it, this is the worst thing. No, this is about moving forward and actually having a better life than what you did have before.
Yeah, brilliant. And I'll definitely recommend that, and I'll put a link down below to
Thank you.
your social medias as well for that. Thank you so much, Anoushka. That's absolutely brilliant having that mini reunion with you. And hopefully we'll see you again across this part of the world.
Absolutely. Of course we will. Of course we'll meet up soon.
Yeah.
Thank you so much for having me as a guest. I've really enjoyed talking on your podcast.
Yeah, thank you so much.